How's it going? My name is Danny, as you can see from my name tag, from Kern County Animal Services, 3951 Fruitvale Avenue. The gentleman to my right should be no stranger to you. We call him TV Boy here around the shelter because he's always doing TV appearances. Our director, Nick Cullen. And the reason Nick and I are sitting down is we wanted to take a few minutes to answer some of the most frequent questions we get here at Kern County Animal Services. The first of what we hope will be an ongoing, conversation with Nick, our Ask the Director feature. You ready to go here, Nick?
Yeah, ready.
All right, now this is a very basic question, Nick, but it's a question that I see asked all the time. How do I know if I'm a city resident or a county resident?
That's a softball question. I lived in Bakersfield for 24 years now. And the first 10 years of my residency in Bakersfield, I had no idea if I was city or county. I had no clue. It's a lot like, it's exactly like law enforcement. And what I mean by that is, the sheriff's department will show up in county jurisdictions. Police department will show up in city jurisdictions, depending on where you live. If you live in the city of Bakersfield and you contact 911 and there's some emergency, the city of Bakersfield the police department will respond. If you live in the county's jurisdiction and you call 911 and there's an issue, the sheriff's department will show up. And so it's no different for animal services. So, when you call animal control, our dispatch is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Anytime before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m. on the weekends, the sheriff's department handles dispatch. I don't want to speak on behalf of the city of Bakersfield, but I believe the city of Bakersfield's Animal Care Center is one resource for city residents. And then the City of Bakersfield Animal Control is another resource. I think it's a different phone number to get a hold of animal control in the city. If you need to license your pet, or if you want to obtain a spay-neuter voucher or a vaccination in most cases, some of those will be based on where you live. If you're looking to adopt a pet, there's no jurisdiction. You can come in and adopt a pet regardless of where you live.
So basically, if the cops in your neighborhood drive a black and white car, probably a city resident. If the cops in your neighborhood drive a white car, you're probably a county resident. Nick, there's a stray dog in my neighborhood. What am I supposed to do?
If there are stray dogs in your neighborhood, our officers will typically respond to try and capture that stray dog, or if they're confined to your property and your county jurisdiction, our officer will make every attempt to come out to your property and retrieve that animal from your property. Don't try and capture or handle a stray dog that you don't know their behavior. There's a potential that there could be an injury that occurs. Contact your local animal control agency or law enforcement agency for direction. But if for some reason you have scooped up a stray animal, county residents can take those stray animals to the county shelter during normal business hours. First and foremost, if you're not sure, you see a stray animal and you're a county resident, call Animal Services, 868-7100. Speak to our dispatch again Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tell them where the animal's at. The one thing that we will always ask is, do you know where the animal belongs? Our primary focus when somebody calls in for a stray dog, we want to try to find who it belongs to. Even if it's a problem in that dog is loose all the time, it's much more productive if we could find who the animal belongs to and have dialogue with the owner. And how can we help to try and solve that problem? And we're not asking the community to be snitches, but it's valuable for us to know the dog that I'm calling in, I believe he lives at 123 Main Street. It's a fictitious address. Don't go to 123 Main Street. And then that will allow us to not only retrieve the animal, but to try and return him back to its owner and maybe issue some sort of supportive care. Maybe they need some support for spay-neuter or vaccinations. Maybe they haven't licensed their animal. Maybe there's some advice we can give them to fix their fence to prevent the problem from happening. But essentially, if you see that stray animal, you want to try and contact your local animal control unit and ask them what to do.
But if you notice the time, it's been nearly 18 minutes.
And we only got through 2 questions. Well, let's keep going.
You want to keep on going?
Yeah.
It's going to require some editing here.
Yes.
I know I see from time to time as I called animal control and it took forever for them to show up or whatever.
We do get that a lot. I called animal control and nobody ever showed up. And I think it's important for me to say we respond to every call we receive. We receive about 14,000 calls a year and we respond to every one of them. Typically the way our officers will respond, it's on a priority basis. So, at any given time we usually have anywhere from 3 to 5 animal control officers on duty each day. And remember, they have to service all of Kern County. It's 8,200 square miles. So it's a vast area that we try to respond to. So you can imagine, we have to respond to calls based on priority. So if there's somebody that's being attacked by a stray animal, if there's an aggressive animal or something that's been gravely injured, our officers are usually going to respond to those calls first. Not every one of those calls that you call us for are going to be very clear that we responded to. In other words, you're not necessarily going to see the officer, and just because you didn't see the officer doesn't mean we didn't respond. Many times, and our officer will schedule a patrol check. Patrol check is based on a member of the community said, I saw a dog, it was at the corner of Main and First Street. We'll ask them, are you still there? And they'll say, no, I had to go to work. And so we'll prioritize a call at a low priority. The animal was not aggressive, it was not injured. And so we'll get there when we can. And it might be 6 hours later, it might be the next day, to be honest with you, before we get out there to patrol that area. So because you didn't see it at the time you called does not mean we didn't respond. If you call about your neighbor's animal being loose, it doesn't mean we're going to respond and take that animal from them. Many times we're trying to put as many resources on calls as we can to fix the problem rather than take the pet away. So just because you didn't see the response does not mean we didn't respond. And I can assure you that of all of the calls that we receive from the community for officer response, we respond to all of them in some shape.
27 minutes in. It's a lot to edit.
I think those are the more prescient questions.
What, the euthanasia questions?
I think that's what people are gonna want to know. I can tell you that answering those questions is probably going to be a segment on its own.